Hello everyone, and welcome to Endless Space! So this is a game that I recently picked up. I kind of been wanting to do a Let's Play of it for a while. It's a pretty fun game. It's a 4X Civilization-esque type game where you play a space civilization. And if you don't know, 4X is a genre of games. It stands for Explore, Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate, I think? Is what it is? Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that's what 4X, and it's just, you know, 4 words that, I mean, they don't really start with X, those all start with E, but you know what I mean, they sound like it. So anyway, yeah, I'll go ahead and explain a little bit about the game while we're playing, but let's go ahead and do new game. I'll go ahead and leave the settings as they are. This is the last game, or not technically the last game. I was just kind of messing around with something last time. I do like the Sophons. They are a pretty fun race to play. Pretty similar to me, I guess. All goopy looking with big blue eyes. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so yeah. So this is where you can set up how the game is, you know, so we have the difficulty of normal, game speed, which determines how long the game is. There's advanced settings, which I'm not going to mess with. The age of the universe, normal, is right there in the center. For a younger one, you know, these younger or older are pretty much, you know, it just really determines, like, normal, like it says right there, it's a mix of hot and cold stars. Young is mostly hot, old is mostly cold. Galaxy size, I'll go ahead and leave it at large because we do have 8 empires, which is the maximum you can have. And we'll go ahead and leave it on disc shape, just because it makes it, I don't know, I just like it. Anyway, so you can choose what race you want to be. So like if we open this up, there's a list of all the races. There's the United Empire, the Sophons, the Hiso, the Amoeba, Automatons, the Cravers, the Horatio, the Sowers, the Pilgrims, and the Sheridan. I haven't played with all of the races just yet, so I don't really know how they operate, but they all have their own unique play style. Or, I mean, you can pretty much play them however you want, but they do have bonuses to playing a certain way. So like the Sophons have bonuses to the sciences and blah 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 blah. But we'll go ahead and go with the Sophons, just because I'm kind of familiar with how they play. So let's go ahead and start the game and watch the opening movie for the Sophons.
Some say that victory is worth any cost. But only the Sophons would say that about knowledge. They learn from a young age that the universe is a great puzzle, and are obsessive about uncovering its secrets. Do not look for them at the forefront of battle, for that is not their way. For the Sophons, the only place to take life-endangering risks is inside the laboratory. Pedantic, argumentative, and arrogant, but curious, always curious.
And that's kind of why I identify with the Sophons, because I am a lot of those things. Alright, so this is the world map as we know it. This is our home universe. This is our home system. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So we have 4 planets on Procyon, right? Procyon, I think? Yeah, Procyon. We have a Terran planet, a desert planet, an Arctic, and a tundra. And we can currently colonize none of these. But we'll get into that in a second. These are our starting fleets. They are named Alpha and Beta. They are almost always a, well, it's called a procreator, but this is a colonization ship, and the Investigator, which is a scout ship. This is our universe as a whole. You can see it's a big disk. There's another universe off in the distance there. These are all the planets. These worm strings or whatever, these are how you travel back and forth between stars. I don't know. And so really what you want to do, or what I like to do, well, I guess I should probably go over all of these things up top. So this is the score overall. This is the thing for our empire. It shows us our system name, their population, the approval rate. If there is a hero attached to them, we'll get into heroes in a bit. And their production. I think this is called FIDS. It's food, industry, science, and dust. And dust is money. That's all it is. All these other ones are exactly what they say they are. Food feeds your people, industry builds shit, science researches stuff, dust is money, it pays for things. It tells you what the system is currently producing. So the way it works is each star system works in tandem. Like all the planets work in tandem with each other. So you have your whichever planet you've colonized, and then all the other ones. Terrans are pretty good planets to have. They offer no. They're basically it's like Earth. A Terran planet is Earth. So there's no negative effects. There's no real positive effects, but it does have bonuses to food and dust, and then minor bonuses to industry and science. Desert planets are shitty to live on. No one likes it, but they do give bonuses to dust. Arctic planets are also shitty. So that thing right there where it has like the I can't really mouse over it, otherwise it'll go away. But it's the happiness, the approval. You can see it's pink right here. See its approval has got the little pink thing. So that little thumbs up that's also pink and indicates approval. For each one of these planets that we colonize, like the desert will -10 to the overall approval. So like if you mouse over, like right now we have +5 from Empire, and no other effects on it. But if we've colonized this desert, then it'll be like -10 from planets. So it's just kind of something to keep in mind. But each planet offers certain bonuses. Terrans are right in the middle. Deserts are bonuses to dust. Arctic is science, and tundra is kind of a mix, but leans more towards like the closer they are to being like Earth, like Terran planets, then the more like the less negative effects they give, and the more neutral they are overall. But the shittier they are, the more bonuses they give to one of the FIDs, either food, industry, science, or blah blah blah. There's also strategic and luxury resources. Luxury increase happiness, and other like FIDs bonuses. Strategic helps you build shit, and blah 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 blah. Here's the sciences. They come in 4 categories. There's galactic warfare, applied sciences, exploration and expansion, and diplomacy. Now, as the Sophons, we're going to want to focus on applied sciences because that's what they like. But you don't really want to focus on one branch over another. You really kind of want to expand in the circles a little equally, I guess, because if you focus on one, you'll be crippled on another, and that's no bueno. Here is our fleet, our military screen. It lets us know our active fleets, how many ships are in them, what their military strength is, what their health is, if they have a hero, their movement, where they're at, or where they're going, what their mission is. So right now they're just orbiting Procyon. And then over here we can actually design new ships. So these are available ship designs that we have: the Investigator, the Protector, and the Procreator. We've already seen the Investigator and the Procreator, but the Protector is a basic military attack ship. It's got kinetic, and you can see them right there. So if we go into add, it lets us design new ships. So you pick a ship hull class. Right now we only have access to the Hecto and the Deca, and they are like this. This one is basically it's a transport ship. This one, I forget what the class types are called in the Sophons, but there's like 6 different hull types. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what they all do, but they all have different bonuses to their effects. They have an overall tonnage of how much, what modules they can have on, whether it's weapons, defense, or support modules. And then certain ones get, like this one gets, like it can take more engine, repair, and scout modules than it can anything else, because it says -25%. So those things are lighter on this one than they would be on other hull ships or hull classes. And you see right now we only have 1 weapons module, which is hard kinetics. We have 1 defense module, which is layered hulls, which counters kinetics. So I guess I can kind of talk about this briefly. So in the weapons modules, there's 3 different ones. There's kinetic, beam, and missile. And in defense, there are things to counter those same ones, and they're helpfully in the same row. So deflect is kinetic, shield is beam, flak is missile. Support is where you can really diversify your ships. So there's power, invasion, armor, all these different things to where you can really customize your ships into what you want them to be. Right now we have very, very limited in what we can actually build because we don't have a whole lot of technology. Yeah, go ahead and confirm. But yeah, that's basic. I mean, like I'll go into way more detail when I actually do a lot of these things. Right now, it's just really, really basics. This is the diplomacy screen. it's a diplomacy screen. It does exactly what it does in every game that's like this. You know, you can see all the people you've met, and then you can have options to talk to them, and you can see what their relations with them is. It's fairly simple. And then finally we have the Hero Academy. So we currently have no heroes, and there are 3 heroes for hire. So it has their name, what the cost is to recruit them, what their current upkeep is, and what their special skills are, and what their level is. So these guys are all level 1. It looks like they all have Administrator, which is interesting. This guy has Commander, this guy has Pilot, and this guy has Adventurer. So they all pretty much, they usually have a mix of skills. Usually it'll be something to do with governing a system, and something to do with governing a fleet, or commanding a fleet. And I'll go into that once we actually recruit a hero. Right now we don't have enough money for it, because it requires 20, we only have 10. So, that's with the basics out of the way. Let's get to colonizing and doing our thing. So the first thing I definitely want to do is we want to go ahead and select Alpha Fleet. And we're going to go ahead and send them to this yellow sun. Surprisingly, it has no colonizable planets. It's all tundras. Tundras are fairly simple. Let's actually go ahead and select. So the first thing I like to do, because I like to try to spread out fairly quickly with I mean, it really depends on who you're playing, but I like to try to grab a lot of early planets fairly quickly. We want to try to get these first 2, Xenobiology and Arid Epigenetics, because they unlock arid planets and tundra planets, and those 2 are the closest ones to Terrans. To a Terran planet, you know, tundra and arid. So we're gonna go ahead and queue those up to be researched. Do you have any movement points left? You do. We currently cannot. Oh, so I guess this is a good time to talk. I could have talked about this before. So when you have these strings, I think they're just called strings, in between star systems. At first, you can only travel down solid ones. These ones that are all wavy and like wobbly and shit. These are wormholes. And we actually can't travel through these yet until we've researched the relevant technology that allows us to travel wormholes. So right now these are dead ends for us. So let's go ahead and take our scout ship. What is the next closest one? It looks like it might be this white sun. So let's go ahead and do that. Go back through Procyon. And run out of movement points. Okay, so we'll actually go ahead and take... we'll leave the beta ship there for now. Yeah, I know about the heroes, thank you. Virtual Awakening. I know normally I like to read all this stuff, but there's a lot of reading when these things come up, so I'll just go ahead and let you guys read this if you want. Imagine I did a really long... Let's go ahead and pause the video. Alright. And it's exploration event Gemini. As familiar with space travel and exploration increases, more and more events and anomalies are registered. Some of these are simply strokes of luck, either bad or good, while others are complex situations that require decisions and generate risk. This discovery will have no effect as you have no hero in your fleet. Yeah, I mean, it's the first turn, we really couldn't do anything with that. This indicates an idle fleet, which is the Procreator fleet, or beta. We're just going to leave him hanging out. So then, last thing we want to do before we end our turn is we're actually going to go ahead and send up some build orders in our home system. So, the first thing we want to do... Oh, I guess that's something else I can talk about that I didn't. So, when you're looking at the... I guess I'll just go ahead and go into detail on this now since we're going to do it. So, this is what the screen looks like when you're looking at a system. Currently, it's our home system, obviously, as I've said multiple times. Man, alright. And then, so you have all the planets in your system. I mean, like, you just give a little quick shortcut. So this one says colonize because we have people on it. Has no exploitation, and it's a medium-sized Terran planet. So if a planet has no exploitation, when you click on a planet, it gives you much more detailed information about it. I mean, it's kind of supposed to give you much more detail, but this is basically just a different way of looking at the screen we were just looking at, only focusing on Procyon 1. So exploitations are these 4 different things here, and what this does is it has a planet focus on one of the 4 fits. But certain ones are more likely to give you bonuses, I guess. So a Terran planet gives you much more food. Well, I guess I mean, even though Terran planets are kind of equal between food and dust, those are the two highest, Terrans generally focus more on food. So like if we focus over the planetary exploitation, like you can see these little, he's got these little triangles in the corner, and they're actually in the order of FIDS too. Food, industry. Well, I guess they're not. Food, industry, dust, and science. That wouldn't be FIDS. Well, yeah, it would. Food, industry, dust, science, FIDS. I'm retarded. So the planetary, the evolved soil. When you mouse over it, it lets you know what it does. It gives you a bonus for jungle planets, ocean planets, and Terran planets. And it gives you +1 food per population, that little blue thing. So we have 3 people on this planet, and we have a potential to have 6. So for each person, so it just says planet, and they all have on planet. So you could potentially put one of these, it doesn't really matter, on any of your planets. And it'll give you the bonus for just the planet, but you get an extra bonus if you specialize it to, you know, whatever. So like for Terran, this will be +1 for being on a planet and +1 for Terran. So for each person per population we have on this planet, we get 2 extra food. So we definitely want that. So we'll go ahead and have Procyon build evolve soils on Procyon 1, and we also want it to go ahead and down here is just star system improvements. Now these affect all of the planets equally. So if we look at public-private partnerships, as you can see, it's +1 science per population on planets. So for each population we have in this whole system, we get a bonus to science. Now right now that doesn't do us a whole lot of good. It'll only give us 3, but as we branch out and get the ability to colonize all of these other planets, what's the total population for this whole? Currently we can only have 6, but we can get up to, let's see, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 21 total? Yeah, so we can have 21 people. So this one thing will give us 21 more science in the system. So that's a pretty good starting. I mean, it is only a starting system improvement, so it's a pretty good investment. So we'll go ahead and have that one queue up. And then we're also going to want to get some early defensive fleets. So we'll just have it queue up some protectors for now. We might want to change this up once we get some more stuff researched. But yeah, so that's basically it for now. Let's go ahead and end the turn. Alright. So this is execute all planned moves for your fleets. We want to go ahead and do that. So send this guy over to, not enough movement points. Sadness. Maybe we want to queue up, instead of some protectors, we want to queue up some investigators. We'll hold off on that. So, yeah, I mean, really just burn through the turns. There's not really a whole lot to do except for kind of wait it out in the beginning. Alright, cool. Okay, so here is Micry. And it has, a jungle planet. Nice. Something about this game that's kind of frustrating, though, is it does that. Damn it. So this gives you a little shortcut. This actually is just a little quick shortcut that you can see at the very top. With no population on it, the planet gives a bonus to food and industry. So this is an okay system. It has... We can't get to asteroids until way later. But it has an entropic field, or a entropic field, which is -30 upkeep on star system. So that's actually not bad. It's a natural wonder. It's a jungle planet. So we can get some early bonuses out of this one. But let's go ahead and explore a little bit more. Go down to this red dwarf. Cancer. Alright, let's see what this is. For exploring Miker, we get, as familiar with, another one of these, and we get +40 industry on system. And for exploring Cancer, we get +10 dust. Discover the entropic field. The third law of thermodynamics states that increased disorder and decay is inevitable. This law is immutable and inevitable throughout all the worlds of all the galaxies. Except here, for whatever reason, entropy in a system increases at a measurably slower rate than anywhere else, meaning that it takes far longer for things to rust, weaken, and otherwise age. Alright, and then Cancer, it is a red dwarf, and we have another jungle planet. Nice. And then here's where we kind of get into some more planetary anomalies. So planetary anomalies can be good or bad. Green is generally good. Any other color is generally bad. So this one has rich soil. So rich soil gives +3 food per population. So in addition to the 4 that this planet normally gets, it gets 3 from the rich soil, so it gets 7. So this is a really good system to kind of start off with. I'd like to start getting some production systems, though. I mean, the lava, obviously the lava planet has a huge production boost. It's 14 per population, so that's a huge production boost. So this one could be a good boon, except for lava planets are really hard to colonize. Just to kind of show you what I mean. Like, we can't actually colonize lava until we get down to baryonic shielding. And that's all the way out, like, what is that? Like, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 5 circles away. 61 turns at our current science rate, so that's going to take us a while to actually get to. So we still want to gobble this one up because that's a good investment. Any moves left? You do. Let's go ahead and go to this protostar. Not enough movement points, but we will actually go ahead and send the procreator. Do I want to go to Micro or Cancer? Let's gobble up Cancer. That sounds kind of bad. Let's gobble up Cancer. What do we got? Alright, so Procyon completed its planetary exploitation and is now working on public-private partnerships. Alright, what are you doing? Into Gano. Gano's a good dust system because of the hydrogen gas giant, but again, a hydrogen gas giant is also very difficult to colonize. But Tundra we're going to have here in a bit, so we're going to want to pick this one up too. We want to try to get to some more stars that are right next to our system. So let's go ahead and get another investigator ship building. Yay, we got xenobotany, which allows us to colonize tundra planets. And I did tundra before I did Arctic because tundra is a little bit better. But, I mean, they're both basically the same. Alright. So let's go ahead. So when you want to colonize a planet when you want to colonize a system that you have no one in, you just, send a colonization ship there, and you click on this button. It says colonize the star system this fleet is orbiting. So you click on it, and then you select whichever planet you want to colonize, which in this case we can only colonize the jungle planet for now. So we'll do that. Great things have small beginnings. Haggard, unsure, but full of hope, the first colonists of your faction have set foot on another planet. It may seem trivial, but even the most epic adventures begins with a single step.